Hello everybody, it's Justin! And I am playing Mega Man 2 because this game, y'all don't understand, this soundtrack in this game like changed my life. It still does it for me the same way. It is a bit different to play with wireless controls because there's that minuscule slight delay that I would have never picked up on had I not grown up with this game playing on an NES. So, but other than that though, it's just good stuff. And listen to this soundtrack of this, it's amazing. But anyway, I digress. Love. The Lord is talking about love today. And he's saying like everything that he has said all the way to this point in terms of, men returning to be men and standing on the word and all those things, all covered in this love. And he said that there is love, and I just felt God's love, this warmth, and just this tenderness and this gentleness and these mercies and all of these things, these amazing things begin to just kind of sweep over me when he said that. And like he just kind of saying over and over again, there is love, and he's not, and I began to like smell a fragrance, and it was the only fragrance that he actually acknowledged. When it talks about in Revelation about the fragrance of the prayers, or the scent of the prayers, and going up, he's like, this is fragrance of love. Like, so even if, for example, you said to somebody that may the Lord deal with you so harshly, or may the Lord, curse all that is getting in between you and him, that's still, depending on the part of your heart that you said that with, you can say this to be nasty because, someone makes you mad or whatever, or you can be saying that I don't want anything because I love you to stand between you and the Lord. I don't want anything to happen to damage that relationship. I don't want anything around you. So even prayers that can be harsh, as long as they're grounded in the love between what the person has for you and what God is acknowledging, and saying that is love, like that oneness is something that he is always behind. This is why it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 13 that if I speak in the tongues of men and angels and have not love, I'm a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. And even all of 1 John chapter 4 is completely dedicated to love. 4 and 5 is dedicated to love. 13 is dedicated to love. These things don't mean anything without speaking and doing these things and standing in the promises because you love the people around you and because you love the Lord. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, if you're so freaked out and trying to get to heaven, and if you do everything in fear, I don't even see that's not biblical. It's not good. If perfect love casts out fear, then now we talk about fearing the Lord is the beginning of understanding. Yes, you should fear the Lord, but in the Jewish understanding of things, there are like levels to fear, and fearing in a respectful kind of way is one of the highest. It's the highest level, if I'm not mistaken. So, yes, fear the Lord, but that means to respect him. The fact that he can be the one to cast your soul into hell. So yeah, respect him and fear him in that way. But as far as doing actions out of reacting to what the devil's doing all the time, no. If you're going to serve God that way, you might as well not, almost. Truly. So, with all these huge things that God's doing, and I saw like a serpent, and when the fragrance of when love just kind of came to this serpent, like the head just kind of melted away, and a body came from the body of that snake. They've been swallowed up into all the deceits and lies and everything, saying that, God doesn't love you, or nobody cares about you, or nobody loves you, and things like that. Not true. So, the thing to remember is to ground everything that you do for the Lord in love. And if we're continually serving him, then continually be renewing yourself in his love and understanding that above everything else. the most shocking thing I've ever seen was when I saw a preacher who was not a gifted speaker. Actually, his name's Todd White. You should look him up on YouTube sometime. He does some pretty amazing stuff. But he was not a particularly gifted speaker. He was just giving his testimony, and because he was so just rooted in love, he stopped his preaching because he heard the Lord saying that someone didn't know who he was. So he stopped his preaching and he called a person out. He said it's in the front row, and he did. And so condemning this young kid, he's like a teenager, instead of condemning this kid, saying that, you know, why don't you do this? You know, how come you're not? He didn't do that. He just went to the kid and hugged him. He got down from the pulpit and just went and embraced the kid and spoke a word of love over him, and a word that God had these plans for him. And the kid began to weep, and he repented right there and gave his life to Christ. I mean, like, what? And then by the end of the night, you know, like, just because he was obeying and being obedient to God, the Spirit of God moved in such a way that that entire room just got transformed. You know, it wasn't the skill of the preacher or like that, you know, it's the fact that he just said yes because he knew that God loved the people in front of him, and he allowed that love to just flow with them, that he loved them also. So when he had the combination, I mean, good grief, it turned the whole room out. And it wasn't even a deep understanding of biblical, theological, whatever. It was love. So really understand that. Walk in this love and crawl in this love. Just love people. Love the Lord your God, Lord, your heart, your mind, soul, and your strength. So that's my time, guys. You can follow me in the description below and find out other ways to support me as well. And also, if you can like, share, and subscribe, that would be awesome. This would be very encouraging to a lot of people. So I want this to kind of get out than more than just, you know, the handful of people that are already here. So maybe love somebody and spread it to them as well. I need to do the same thing myself because I can get discouraged when I see so little views. Just to be real with you, but I need to do better in terms of having a better outlook or a more positive outlook. Alright guys, that's my time. Loves and hugs, and bye-bye. Thank you once again to my Patreon supporters. It means so much to me. Just look at them. Just look at these people. Just look at it.